excessively or annoyingly flattering. Their smarmy sales pitch felt more like manipulation than persuasion. A smarmy comment at the meeting made the whole team cringe.
To dissociate is to separate oneself from association or union with someone or something. In contexts relating to psychology, it has to do specifically with mentally detaching from one's physical or emotional experiences. In chemistry, dissociate means to separate a chemical compound into its constituent parts, especially through the application of heat or a solvent. The director has tried to dissociate herself from her earlier films. He tried to dissociate himself from the party's more extreme views.
A blurred background effect in photos, highlighting the subject. Her face was in focus, with the street scene behind dissolving into muted bokeh. The new lens keeps the subject crisp while delivering a natural bokeh that doesn't look overprocessed.
Palimpsest in its original use refers to writing material such as a parchment manuscript used one or more times after earlier writing has been erased. The underlying text is said to be in palimpsest. Palimpsest in extended use refers to something that has usually diverse layers or aspects apparent beneath the surface. Scholars believe the motive for making palimpsests was often economic. Reusing parchment was cheaper than preparing a new skin. The ancient city is an architectural palimpsest.
Airtight, protected. A hermetic seal on the jar ensures oxygen stays out. The spacecraft's hermetic modules keep astronauts alive in the vacuum of space.
Egregious is a formal word used to describe things that are conspicuously bad. Leaving one's phone on during a performance is an egregious breach of theater etiquette. It was an egregious error for a statesman to show such ignorance.
Awareness of the position of one's body. Gymnasts need exceptional proprioception to flip and land precisely. Many martial artists practice with their eyes closed to sharpen their proprioception.
A tapestry is a heavy textile characterized by complicated pictorial designs and used for hangings, curtains, and upholstery. In figurative use, tapestry may refer to anything made up of different things, people, colors, etc. The walls were adorned with hand-woven tapestries. They enjoyed the rich tapestry of life in the city.
Old-fashioned or out of date. Those fusty curtains made the whole cafe feel gloomy. The board still clings to fusty policies from the 1980s.
Contentious describes something that is likely to cause people to argue or disagree, or that involves a lot of arguing. When used of a person, contentious describes someone likely or willing to argue. I think it's wise to avoid such a contentious topic at a dinner party. After a contentious debate, members of the committee finally voted to approve the funding. The dispute involves one of the region's most contentious leaders.
A secret dungeon with an opening only in the ceiling. They unearthed a skeleton at the bottom of the oubliette during renovations. Rumors of a hidden oubliette fueled ghost stories about the manor.
Largesse is a somewhat formal word that refers to the act of giving away money or the generosity of a person who gives away money. It can also refer to the money that is given away. The community has benefited greatly from the largesse of its wealthiest family. The local business owner is a philanthropist known for his largesse.
To laugh loudly. The whole crowd began to guffaw at his absurd attempt to moonwalk. I'll guffaw at anything slapstick, no matter how many times I've seen it.
To adjudicate a dispute between two parties is to make an official decision about which party is right. To adjudicate a case or claim is to settle it judicially. Adjudicate is also used to mean to act as judge. The case will be adjudicated in the state courts. The property title cannot be transferred until a case concerning the affected rights-of-way is adjudicated.
A small, rocky island. The scurry vanished at high tide, leaving boats at risk of striking the hidden rocks. The fishermen anchored their dinghy near a lonely scurry to check their lobster traps.
Winsome describes people and things that are cheerful, pleasant, and appealing. Though a relative newcomer to acting, Maya won the casting directors over with her winsome charm, which was perfect for the role of the plucky young superhero. Our winsome guide put us at ease immediately.
Causing or tending to cause sleep. Some herbal teas are prized for their soporific qualities. The novel's endless descriptions turned out to be more soporific than entertaining.
A behemoth is something of monstrous size, power, or appearance.
Behemoth, usually capitalized, is also the name of a mighty animal described in the biblical book of Job. The town will be voting on whether or not to let the retail behemoth build a store on the proposed site. She works in a 70-story behemoth in Manhattan.
Gladly, willingly. They would as lief face the storm to get their message out. The chef would as lief be an unknown cook rather than a celebrity endorsing frozen dinners.
Someone or something described as hidebound is inflexible and unwilling to accept new or different ideas. Although somewhat stuffy and strict, the professor did not so completely adhere to hidebound academic tradition that he wouldn't teach class outside on an especially lovely day. She wanted a life that was less hidebound by rules and conventions.
Reddish or brownish red. I spotted the identifying rufous streak on the hawk's wing as it soared overhead. The ancient pottery shards still showed traces of rufous paint along their collars.
To stipulate is to demand or require something as part of an agreement. The rules stipulate that players must wear uniforms. A delivery date is stipulated in the contract.
A friendly talk. Chat. She invited them over for tea and a little coze about the old days. We planned our trip during a coze in a quiet corner, away from the noise of the party.
Ramshackle describes things that are in a very bad condition and need to be repaired, or that are carelessly or loosely constructed. Toward the back of the property stood a ramshackle old shed. The book had a ramshackle plot that was confusing and unbelievable.
Lava that has a smooth or billowy surface. Even after it cooled, the Pahoehoe looked fluid, like waves turned to stone. The guide described Pahoehoe as taffy like lava.
Calculus refers to an advanced branch of mathematics that deals mostly with rates of change and with finding lengths, areas, and volumes. The word can also be used more broadly for the act of calculating, that is, estimating something by using practical judgment or solving or probing the meaning of something. By my calculus, the more efficient air conditioner will have paid for itself within a span of 5 years. The new legislation changes the calculus for car manufacturers.
Perhaps by chance. The path was overgrown, but happily they stumbled upon a hidden shortcut. They agreed to wait another week, so that happily the weather might improve.
Immutable is a formal adjective used to describe something that is unable to be changed. It is hardly an immutable fact that cats and dogs are sworn enemies. Over the years, our golden retriever has grown both fond and protective of her tabby housemate. This decision should not be seen as immutable.
The act of talking while, or as if alone. The actor stepped forward and began a haunting soliloquy that stilled the room. Half the essay read like a private soliloquy, raw and unfiltered.
To meander is to follow a winding or intricate course, that is, one with a lot of turns and curves, or to walk slowly without a specific goal, purpose, or direction. We spent the afternoon meandering around the seaside town. The river meanders through the canyon.
Sand-like, sandy. Some plants thrive in arenaceous soil, while others will struggle to take root. The color palette for the mural was inspired by arenaceous tones.
Tempestuous is used to describe something that is related to or resembles a violent storm. In its literal and often literary use, tempestuous is synonymous with turbulent and stormy. Figuratively, tempestuous describes something or someone full of strong emotions, such as anger or excitement. On its return to port, the unlucky schooner was beset by tempestuous weather and nearly capsized. Though sometimes a tempestuous relationship, their long marriage was a happy one.
The state or fact of being the firstborn of children of the same parents. In some cultures, primogeniture defines social status from birth. Even today, a preference for primogeniture can shape family dynamics and prompt younger siblings to strike out on their own.
Glitch is an informal word referring to an unexpected and usually minor problem. It is used especially for a minor problem with a machine or device, such as a computer. The email went out to everyone in the company because of a technical glitch. We'd expected a few glitches, but everything's gone remarkably smoothly.
An obstacle, hindrance, or obstruction. The bureaucracy's love of paperwork is an eternal remora to efficiency. Legal disputes added a remora that pushed the merger timeline back.
Ostentatious describes someone or something that displays wealth, knowledge, power, etc., in a way that is meant to attract attention, admiration, or envy. Things that are ostentatious tend to stand out as overly elaborate or conspicuous. The resort town is famous for its extravagantly expensive summer homes, which some tourists view as impressive and others as merely ostentatious. They criticize the ostentatious lifestyle of their leaders.
Lighthearted, merry, cheerful. The team cheered in blithesome unison after the victory. He whistled a blithesome tune while making a quesadilla.
A euphemism is a mild or pleasant word or phrase that is used instead of one that is unpleasant or offensive. The HR department advises using the euphemism, let go, instead of saying that someone was fired. User fees is just a politician's euphemism for taxes.
To cause a plant to whiten or grow pale by excluding light. Excessive shade can etiolate emerging seedlings. Some specialty farms etiolate certain produce to achieve a more delicate aroma.
Something described as salient is very important or noticeable. The assignment was to write down the most salient points made in the article. One salient feature of the band's music is the variety of different genres it incorporates into a singular sound.
A quick, sharp return in speech or action. The new attendees' riposte turned a dull meeting into a lively debate. The student offered a wry riposte instead of an apology.
To validate something is to show that it is real or correct. Validate can also mean to state or show that something is legal or official. To put a mark on something to show that it has been checked and is official or accepted. And to show that someone's feelings, opinions, etc. are fair and reasonable. The company's claims about its latest product are yet to be validated. You can get discounted parking by having your parking garage ticket validated at the museum's ticket desk. The decline in sales only validated our concerns about the menu changes.
Full of bends or curves, sinuous. The river carved a flexuous path through the floodplain. The painting came alive with flexuous brushstrokes.
Apathy refers either to a lack of feeling or emotion, or to a lack of interest or concern. Though the girl's expression communicated apathy, Gina knew her daughter was actually very pleased at having won the poetry prize. While the previous mayor's administration responded to the community's needs with little more than apathy, City Hall under the new leadership is making real changes.
A small cup for serving strong black coffee after dinner. The old diner served espresso in chipped demitasse cups from the 1950s. They treated themselves to a demitasse of rich Cuban coffee after every dinner.
Something may be described as flagrant if it is conspicuously bad, that is, too bad to be ignored. In a flagrant violation of the family's code of ethics, someone finished the ice cream and left the empty container in the freezer. He showed a flagrant disregard for anyone else's feelings.
To fail to meet or to keep an appointment with someone. They made a pact to never mistrust each other, even if it meant walking through a storm. If you want people to trust you, never mistrust them, even if you have a good excuse.
To cloister someone or something is to shut the person or thing away from the world. The scientist cloistered himself in his laboratory all weekend to finish analyzing data. The monastery was where the brothers would cloister themselves to meditate.
The use or overuse of period-specific or archaic expressions. The novel's constant gadzookery made it feel more like a parody than a period piece. He can't write a love letter without drenching it in gadzookery.
Undulant describes things that rise and fall in waves, or things that have a wavy form, outline, or surface. The exhibit featured a painting with beautiful green strokes that resembled undulant hills.
Early, in good time. They rose betimes, hoping to glimpse the comet before first light. I mend broken ties betimes, so old grudges don't weigh me down.
Trepidation refers to a feeling of fear that causes someone to hesitate, because they think that something bad or unpleasant is going to happen. The students felt a sense of trepidation upon being summoned to the principal's office. He knocked on the door with some trepidation.
To hinder, block, or thwart. Heavy traffic could easily stymie your early morning commute. She refused to let criticism stymie her creativity.
Nebulous is a formal word used to describe something that is difficult to see, understand, or describe, in other words, something indistinct or vague. A lot of philosophical concepts can seem nebulous at first, but a good instructor can cut through the jargon and help students see how they apply to day-to-day life. She has a few nebulous ideas about what she might want to do in the future, but nothing definite.
A merchant vessel having various rigs. Cartographers sketched a carrack alongside the old trade routes. The captain inspected the carrack's multiple masts before setting sail.
Diminution is a formal word that refers to the act or process of becoming less. The company is committed to seeing that efforts to scale up production do not result in a diminution of quality. Regular exercise can result in a general diminution in stress levels.
Of our relating to the stars. Earth's sidereal day is nearly 4 minutes shorter than a solar day. She explained that sidereal drift is the reason star signs have shifted over centuries.
Incisive means impressively direct and decisive. It is generally applied to either something communicated in a way that is very clear and direct, or to a person who is able to explain difficult ideas clearly and confidently. The columnist is known for her incisive commentary on local politics. He had a clear, incisive mind.
With full force. The waterfall crashed amain into the pool below. The actor's heart pounded amain while he waited behind the curtain.
Protocol most often refers to a system of rules explaining the correct conduct and procedures to be followed in a formal situation. In computer programming, a protocol is a set of rules used in formatting data. Protocol can also refer to a plan for a scientific experiment or medical treatment, or to a document that describes the details of a diplomatic treaty. What is the proper protocol for declining a job offer? My doctor recommended a simplified treatment protocol for my condition.
To lay aside for use or reference at some later indefinite time. My manager chose to pigeonhole the complaint and revisit it once they had more context. They decided to pigeonhole the blueprint until the budget was approved.
Simpatico typically describes two or more people or things with shared qualities, interests, etc. It can also describe someone who is agreeable or likable. Even though they weren't always simpatico with regard to the direction of their company, the pair managed to be successful partners for more than 35 years. The inspector was a charming man, so simpatico.